In southern Israel. Let's go to Tel Aviv and speak with Ambassador Mark Regev, senior advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Israeli ambassador to the UK. Ambassador, welcome. Good to have you back on the program today. What can you tell us about how quickly this meeting came together of Israel's government and what you think the major sticking points are in the discussions that are ongoing?
So I've left now the government discussions to talk with you, and those discussions are going on. And this is the full Israeli government. It's over 30 ministers, and they're sitting around the table. My prime minister addressed them before, and he said, if we're not getting all our people out now, that remains our goal, but we're getting out people, and that's the main thing. He said specifically that we're talking about a temporary, if this works, we're talking about a temporary cessation of fire to get our people out. We've said that from the very beginning. We said we'll agree to a cessation of our operation temporarily to get hostages out, and Hamas has finally agreed. And if you ask me why have they agreed, they've agreed because they were facing the blows of the IDF. We were destroying their military machine. We were eliminating their senior commanders. They were hurting. And because they were hurting, because they were feeling the pain, they agreed to things that they didn't agree to in the past. And we will see, if this proceeds as I hope it does, we'll see a substantial group of hostages freed and coming back to their families. That's very, very, very important.
Let me ask you, it's very important, obviously, sir. Was there a discussion in the room that you were just in with Prime Minister Netanyahu about specifically which hostages would be part of this particular group and whether or not there would be Americans among those released in this group, sir?
So at this stage, while the discussions in my government are still going on, I can't go into that level of detail, and I apologize. I'm not saying that anything you've reported so far is wrong. All I'm saying is I'm not at liberty at this stage to go into the details. Only when my government reaches a final decision, which could be it could take a few hours, because once again, we have a parliamentary democracy. All the ministers get to speak and express their opinions, and then there'll be a vote. I think I'm pretty sure the Prime Minister will have a majority, that he'll get this through the government, but still we have to go through the process.
So if that takes a few hours, and it sounds as though you are optimistic that the Israeli government will approve the tenets of this particular deal and the pause in fighting that is part of it, how long, then what happens? How long do you think it will take for us to actually see people start emerging, and would that be happening at the Rafah Gate, at the southern end of Gaza, into Egypt?
So we have a legal process in Israel where once the government reaches its decision, and if the decision involves the release of terrorists in Israeli prisons, then the families of those who were killed by those terrorists have the right, under our law, under our constitutional practice, have the right to petition Israel's Supreme Court if they oppose the release of people who were involved in the murder of their loved ones. And that can add maybe another 20, 24 hours to the decision-making process in Israel. So it's not enough that the government decides. After that, the Israeli Supreme Court, if there are petitions, must hear those petitions. Now, as I say, that could add 24 hours to the process. We have judicial review like you have in the United States. But I would expect, in the past, the Israeli Supreme Court has not has not overruled the government on these sort of things. And so I would expect, if everything goes according to plan, tomorrow is Wednesday. By Thursday, we could already, if all this works, we could already see the release of hostages held today in Gaza by the terrorists.
Well, we look forward to that. We certainly hope that happens. For those Americans, Thanksgiving would be a wonderful day for them to receive that news, and they would certainly have a lot to give thanks for if their loved ones are released and healthy. So, Ambassador Regev, we are all praying for these discussions with a positive outcome to get these people home, as many as possible. So, Ambassador, thank you very much. It's good to have you back on our program, and we'll speak with you soon.